anthropology, as I said, without the right theology. Logos is the icon of the Father, and man is the icon of God. We are the image of God. Dyer wave
3.
This is kicking off Spooktober.
Spooky.
Scary lights, blood, guts, gooey nougat centers inside of creatures that turn into other things. Evolution, bro.
Do you like Halloween? No. I don't like all of the crap in the stores already. All the Halloween stuff.
I want Spirit Halloween to take over every strip mall.
No.
That's
the worst
in every town,
looking creature.
in every country.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't like him.
So, welcome everybody. We're just coming off the heels of the unhinged and psychotic debater Tristan, aka Tristana, who we are no longer associated with. We are better than him, and we just want to virtue signal and point out how better we are because Destiny won the debate last night. Psych. Anyway, tonight is a special feature because we're not just covering the 80s spooky classics, I'll also be doing a debate immediately after this stream. So I'm not at full steam. I'm actually taking my Tomcat, which we'll discuss later, to help me have the energy to spurg out and be mean to Pedro. I'm just joking. I'm not going to be mean to Pedro. Pedro from the Crucible, who I believe is a Protestant, as far as I understand. We will be doing a debate immediately after this live stream. So tonight we're going to cover, for Spooktober, kicking it off. You know, last year we did Hereditary. Do you remember that? We did Hereditary, Halloween 3. Fun stuff. Classic John Carpenter there. I forget what else we did.
Burpee, burpee.
3 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 3 more days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Burpee, burpee, burpee.
That will never leave.
You look that
your mind.
up, that will never leave your head. You will go insane. So, we got Child's Play, a.k.a. Chucky. If you've ever heard of Chucky. You know Chuck? Not Chuck D, Chuck E. Not Chuck D, Public Enemy. Not Public Enemy's Chucky. Chucky.
Chucky, my buddy Chucky.
Yeah,
And-
it is my buddy.
Yeah.
My buddy and me.
You want to talk about that one first?
Kid
Yeah.
sister. Kid sister. Kid sister and me.
This is the first scary movie I ever saw as
This
a child.
this traumatized Jamie.
It messed me up towards dolls. Yes. Dolls have some evil in them. And ever since I saw Child's Play, that one and Candyman, I was about 12 years old and I'd never seen a scary movie before. And I saw Chucky. And I've never been the same. But
I don't think dolls are scary at all. I think they're ridiculous. And I don't think clowns are scary at all. So I don't know why people are scared of dolls and clowns. It makes me laugh.
they're creepy. It's like, well, as we shall see, there is a lot of voodoo in Child's Play.
Mm-hmm.
You thought it was...
I don't think dolls are scary at all. Yeah, I mean, people are like, I can't hear you. The sound is off. The sound is up significantly.
They're creepy.
I have a phone.
Well, as we shall see.
Sounds perfect to me.
There is
So I don't understand these. Maybe everybody else got broke ears. Haha. Go ahead.
Is it working? Okay.
We sound beautiful.
Okay, so Child's Play, 1988. There is a serial killer on the loose who is killed by a cop, and he puts his soul into a doll.
It's actually Brad Dourif, aka Grima Wormtongue.
Yeah. He's like a strangler, right?
Yeah, the Scranton Strangler.
Well, do you remember we saw the new Chucky reboot in the theater?
Yeah, and it was about AI
Yeah.
being possessed and basically killing everybody.
Yeah. So it was scary and on point.
They were like, what if Chucky was run by Skynet?
Yeah. But this one is good old-fashioned calling upon the dark powers of voodoo to put yourself into a doll so that you can continue your serial killer career. Right?
Yeah, I'd never seen this. I don't know how or why. I never had an interest in Chucky. I didn't think it would be good. I didn't really get to. My parents didn't let me watch horror movies in the 80s, and I didn't really want to. I was scared of horror movies. I thought they were all like devils.
Me too.
So now I like horror movies, not like the really gross stuff, but now that I'm grown up and evolved, and I'm an atheist and I'm not superstitious anymore, I'm not afraid of horror movies. So I have balls, as they say.
Well, now that I've seen many horror movies and going back and watching this one from my childhood, this was a pretty good horror movie. I'd give it a solid B+ as a, like, well, okay, there's the...
It's a fun 80s movie.
Yeah, there's the consumerism, because...
Oh, yeah, I told you to make a note of that. That's right.
The cereal and the cartoon and everything is like peak 80s consumer, the doll, everything you have to have. He's even dressed in the clothes of the guy, the doll. The doll's called The Good Guys, right?
Bum, 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 bum.
That's Gremlins.
Right. And both Gremlins and Child's Play are about, to a degree, consumerism. Do you remember the whole end scene where, because it's all about buying the latest gadget and fad, the dad is looking for a unique present for his sons, and he's a failed inventor. Remember that? Mm-hmm. So he goes and finds this like retarded Furby dealer in Chinatown who sells retarded demonic Furbies, and you can't get them wet, right? So he brings that home, and then the end sequence of Gremlins. My interpretation of Gremlins, I know we're not doing Gremlins, but it's a Christmas movie actually, is that it's about the rampant consumerism is essentially demonic, and then the whole society has havoc wreaked upon it, like the Gremlins wreak upon the small town.
Yeah.
And then in Gremlins 2, they go to the Twin Towers, basically, under Clamp Industries. It's Trump. It's obviously Trump, which is pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. And they wreak havoc and destroy the towers. So it's almost like a Twin Towers reference.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Gremlins 2.
The new batch.
Clamp is his name instead of Trump.
Clamp, that's it.
Yeah.
And then the last Gremlin is a transitioned Gremlin. Yeah. Like Tristana.
It's a lady Gremlin.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well,
it's literally a transitioned Gremlin.
Because of some
It's a boy Gremlin
goo.
who puts on. No, it's a boy Gremlin who puts on girls' outfit.
Oh, okay. Crazy.
That's how it ends. Anyway, so that's about consumerism, and this is also about that indirectly, because everybody is obsessed with these toys, and they're almost like replacement father figures. So the kid in this movie has no father.
Right.
And they speak of the toy as if he treats the toy like his replacement father figure.
Yeah. And did you notice
Analogies run me crazy.
When he's making breakfast, he's putting sugar on top of sugar cereal.
Yeah, there's all these references to the consumerist pop culture stuff.
Yeah, and then
it's sugar cereal, literally.
Do you remember Country Crock spread?
Of course I remember it. It still exists.
I know.
It didn't go away.
So gross. That's not even
here.
Food. Please don't ever buy or eat that. Like, our family ate that too.
I'm sorry.
I know. That will kill you. No more Country
Yeah,
Crock
it's not.
spread.
I mean, it's not even like margarine, right? It's another third thing. Butter, margarine, third thing.
Somebody said, "Who's Jamie?"
This is my wife. This is my wife. That's a joke. Mm-hmm. What? Don't get your feelings hurt. It's a joke. Come on. We're on a live stream.
It's little dude's birthday. And she's a single mom. And she had to buy the cursed doll from a filthy peddler because she couldn't afford the new doll. Remember? And then... Oh, have you ever heard of LOL dolls?
Mm-mm.
Is
that like brats?
Kind of, but there's these crazy new things that if you put them in hot water, they show their underwear and stuff.
No.
Yeah. LOL dolls.
I'm just used to playing with brats. So.
Oh, do you remember like you were saying the doll is his replacement family dad?
Yeah.
That's like Last Action Hero.
That's what I was going to say, is that Arnold in the movie, they make it clear that he's a replacement dad figure.
Yeah.
Arnold even says that about the movie, because it's a meta movie. Really good, by the way. Mm-hmm. Tristana said margarine is motor oil. The whole chat thinks now that you're mad at me over the joke when I said this. They said I'm sleeping outside tonight.
I don't care.
It's a joke, obviously.
Have you ever noticed that the well-meaning friend always gets killed?
Well, I thought not always, because
in a horror movie, if you're like the person's best friend and you offer to do something for them, that last task is going to cost you your life. In most horror movies. And this is what happened.
My whiteboard has its own profile, and it says that if I tell you don't get your feelings hurt, it's like throwing a cinder block in a dryer while running. Source, I am a wife.
Okay.
I sleep alone tonight. Yeah. I sleep in the doghouse every night, y'all, because we literally have a doghouse out back. It's Snoop Dogg house, and it's like all pimped out. It's a giant doghouse that's pimped out, and Snoop Dogg sleeps there, and it's called the Doghouse.
Have you seen the guy who made a dog living room for his dogs? It's pretty cute.
That's rampant consumerism.
Yeah.
Consumerism goes crazy when the pets are treated like humans and given houses and spas and pedicures and like nipple replacement or whatever the pets are given.
Right.
I made up that last one. You didn't even catch it.
I was reading the notes. What did you say?
Nipple replacement.
Oh.
So she doesn't even listen to what I say. I just showed you guys. I ran a test and I listed things and I said nipple replacement. And you're like, oh.
Uh-huh.
Pretty sure dogs don't get nipple replacements.
The rich ones can.
My whiteboard is literally a wife. So my whiteboard has its own profile and it's here. Go ahead.
The doll makes the kid take him to the ghetto and
this part's
find
funny,
his serial killer partner.
So that he can kill the serial killer partner as the doll.
Yeah. Eddie Caputo, isn't that
But what doesn't make sense about this scene is why does he even... Oh, that's right, because he thinks that the voodoo guy can save him. Because I was thinking, like, he's found the perfect escape as a villain. Nobody's ever going to find him inside of a Chucky doll. So why does he even care about killing this guy?
Well,
and then I realized it's because he thinks he's going to be human again.
Yeah.
And then he has to take care... If he takes care of the guy while he's a doll, then he's good.
I just thought it was weird they had serial killer partners.
Why?
Because you always think of them working alone, but when you do
But
did all
the
those
Dave
shows,
McGowan,
they always have a partner.
Exactly, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Serial killers are usually working in a team or in pairs, not random lone nuts.
And his house has like crazy serial killer art murals. Remember that part? And we were looking up the serial killer art. They always have.
Yeah, so when they go to Brad Dourif's house, it looks like the artwork of John Wayne Gacy or Jack Kevorkian.
With like voodoo.
Yeah, and he's got a giant voodoo mural
babies.
Of like, and he's got, it doesn't have like cannibalist stuff in it.
No, it has the creator god Damballa on it.
That's right. I knew it was some, deity from voodoo, right?
So then he goes to the voodoo mentor's house and was like, how do I get out of this doll? Remember, like, what happened to me?
Yeah, and he's like, basically, you asked me to do it, but you didn't ask me if I could turn you back. So it's like, sorry, bro.
Yeah. So then he gets revenge on his guy.
You would think you would assume he would have asked, right, like beforehand. You know, is this reversible? Right. It's kind of like getting your male member removed.
He's turning into like a human doll hybrid, and so he has to get his soul out of the doll.
That's right.
Because he's becoming
more like the
mortal.
doll.
Yeah. He's becoming a real boy in a doll body.
Serial killer Pinocchio.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Serial killer Pinocchio. So he calls on Chango and Santeria and Macombe and tries to invoke all his gods to put his soul into the kid.
Okay, so now this is a perfect setup for a joke.
What?
Serial killer Pinocchio. So take the name Pinocchio and turn it into serial killer. But it has to have like Pinocchio.
Oh, Pinocchio Lee Ray. Charles Pinocchio.
No, like what serial killer name does Pinocchio sound like? Is there a serial killer with...
Oh, John Wayne Pinocchio.
That doesn't sound like Pinocchio.
The Pinocchio stalker.
No, like... Nobody understands what I'm saying? Am I the only person who gets... Am I the only one that gets me?
You want a portmanteau of Pinocchio.
I'm like a teen, and I'm the only one that gets me.
Whose name sounds like Pinocchio?
I'm looking at the serial killers.
Okay. Zodiac?
No, that doesn't work. Son of Sam. Dahmer. Bundy? No. Manson. Ramirez. David Pinocchio Ray. David Parker Ray. That one's pretty close.
The P stands for Pinocchio. Well, in this movie, his name is Charles Lee Ray, so he has the triple serial killer name.
Pinocchio del Toro. He's not a serial killer. Pier Pacciani. He's the monster of Florence. Pier Pinocchio. All right, this is too dumb. I thought there would be an easy one, but no. John Wayne Pinocchio. Just make it totally ridiculous.
Pinocchio family. Like Manson?
Manson?
Yeah.
They're getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
I'm sure the chat can help. I mean, somebody in the chat can come up with what kind of serial killer is Chucky? Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm derailing and destroying everything.
That's okay. The movie's almost over. Because she has to...
Oh, the other thing I was thinking is that what if... This is just a crazy thought. What if toys are voodoo? Because we think of voodoo dolls, right? Like little dolls.
Yeah.
What if mass consumption pop toy culture is voodoo? What if the toy companies are literally like trying to... I mean, it's entirely possible. There's occultists everywhere.
Yeah.
What if the heads of the toy companies are like doing what they think is voodoo with toys?
Chuck Nokio.
Just a thought.
That's the best one you're gonna get.
What?
Chuck Nokio. I like it.
I don't get it. Chuck who? Manson? Chuck.
Instead of Chucky and Pinocchio, it's Chuck Nokio.
Oh. I was trying to figure out who the serial killer is. Who's Chuck?
I like that.
Chuck Manson.
Mm-hmm. Chucky Manson.
Chucky Manson.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. I give up. I can't think of any.
Well, Chucky Manson got burned in the fireplace, still didn't die, and they had to shoot him. And, like, who's going to believe me that a doll is attacking all these people? Do you remember?
Well, the more I think about it, now I'm starting to think that is the meaning of Child's Play. That it's the whole thing is voodoo, and that the way that the shaman has his voodoo dolls is the way that it's like the corporations are the corporate shamans, and they've given everyone their voodoo dolls to put them under a spell.
Yeah. Look at all the Barbies and the Brats. And all the LOL dolls.
Remember when what was it? Was it American Girl? Do you remember when that came out?
Yeah.
When those were really popular, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They even had stores in the rich side of town.
Yeah.
And they were expensive girl dolls. And I remember somebody was pointing out that they started turning their stars in inverted pentagram.
Oh, good point. They were supposed to be like the wholesome dolls, the anti-brats and stuff.
There was something about it where somebody was saying that. I mean, I may just be remembering wrong.
So
maybe I'm thinking of Bratz and I'm confusing it with that, but I don't remember.
No, you're right about the American Girl star.
Okay.
So ever since then, I knew
Charles Chucky Whitman.
Dolls had some evil in them. Because what was that whole trilogy about that stupid doll? Conjuring with the man.
No, Annabelle.
But the Conjuring...
Well, that's part of Conjuring. You're right.
Yeah. So,
I actually like the Conjuring. Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to think about. Ed and Lorraine Warren kind of seem... They seem like... I can't... Like, are they serious or are they boomer con people? I can't figure it out.
Remember the boomers.
I'm I like half and half. But I haven't really investigated Ed and Lorraine Warren, so I'm sure somebody out there knows the whole, down low. But... So I'd never seen Chucky, and it was fun. It was fun to watch with you. It was, I guess, what I expected.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting.
It has several sequels.
Well, I was gonna say every one of these tonight is like a franchise.
Yeah.
So I guess in a sense they all ended up being successful and capitalized on this goofy genre.
We picked the 4 most classic Halloween franchises, I think.
Yeah, except we've already kind of done Halloween. So we did Halloween last year. So
So you want to do Hellraiser 2?
Yeah, let's move. We got to move through it.
Okay,
So.
Hellraiser 2, same year as Child's Play. So this is a big year for 1988. Had 2 good horror movies.
By the way, I may be wrong about the American Girl thing. I just can't remember. There was something about it I remember seeing, but it was like 10 years ago.
I think you're right.
If I'm wrong, then I'm talking about Bratz and I'm mixed up. But
So Hellraiser 2, 1988, Clive Barker, a ritual magician. And we all know that what's that called? The lament configuration?
The lament configuration.
That's a cube of Saturn, which is Kronos.
You're in the doghouse now because you will never remember that thing. Jamie has never remembered the Hellraiser Saturn cube.
I can't remember what it's called. Lament configuration. So
that's better than the Lamont configuration. Lamont, help me. Sanford and Son. Sanford's son is called Lamont.
Oh. I don't know them.
You didn't even know the Sanford and Son song. It's
I
like
know.
the most famous TV theme song of all
That
time.
was before
I played it
I
and
was
she was
born.
like, what is that song? Like, you don't know the Sanford and Son song?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're going to do Hellraiser 2 because Hellraiser 1 is just bringing the gooey band back, basically, from the dead. So to get you caught up, it was a dad, a stepmom, and a daughter.
Yeah.
Stepmom's cheating with uncle. Uncle dies, got to raise him from the dead by feeding him people. Right?
Somebody take the Hellraiser box and put Lamont's face on it. That would be funny and call it the Lamont configuration. Anyway.
So this is where we get to meet Pinhead as a human who is like on safari or something. And he was messing with the box and he opened the gate. Right?
Yeah, so if you remember, part 2 is the woman from part 1. Mm-hmm. She went to hell and now she's back to terrorize, but isn't she raised by the guy who's a psychiatrist and a Crowleyan?
There's so much MK Ultra and Crowley in this.
This I didn't expect. So actually the best of these in this batch tonight was Hellraiser 2, and it was the one that I least expected to actually find a significant amount of information and stuff in. Yeah.
So this is when immediately after Hellraiser 1, the girl, the daughter, wakes up in a psychiatric hospital, right?
We have such sights to show you.
I like to think of Pinhead as just like an emo teen, and then everything he says just sounds a lot more goofy. What?
We have such tea to show you. Testosterone.
Yes. The 7 wonders. Say it like that.
The 7 sins? The Cenobites use the 7 sins to get their prey. And you can combat that with the 7 wonders. I'm joking.
Yeah. So...
I remember Wishmaster. That's another Clive Barker. But, yeah. So, let's get into this with...
There's a crazy brain surgery scene where they're talking about the brain is a labyrinth and the surgeons have to see it because they are like curious sociopaths that just have to open up the body to investigate and see what's going on inside.
Yes, this operates consistently on the macro-micro principles. So things that are small are little magical images and models of the large or the real. Mm-hmm. So just like in Chucky, voodoo dolls are little, magical representations of the thing they're supposed to represent. In Hellraiser 2, there's all these references to the maze at the beginning is the person's brain that crazy MK Ultra doctor is experimenting on. And then the lament configuration turns into a little maze, which is also the shape of Leviathan, who is a giant cube pyramid thing that is black, that sends out the black light of Lucifer.
It's like a triangle geometric.
That's a cube. It's two. It's not a triangle. It's a pyramid and a pyramid. It's like the Ethereum logo.
Yes, exactly.
But it's stretched out.
We even wrote that down. His ether logo. So
yeah.
In the psychic ward with the protagonist girl is another little girl who's been there, and she's like a genius at solving puzzles, who the doctor has kidnapped basically and made her to solve all the puzzles because he's obsessed with this lament configuration.
Well, and he's studying the spiritual insights that gifted kids have at puberty. Remember?
Yes. And then we find out there's another level of crazy people down below.
Yeah, they're really crazy.
That he's been experimenting on and making them work on the boxes for him.
Like the Tristan level of schizophrenia.
Yes. So, yeah, hell is a massive labyrinth with Leviathan at the center. There's Frank and Julia from the first movie. Cheatin' Frank came back to life. Pinhead and the Cenobites are servants of Leviathan.
And these are all humans who basically, what happens, we learn, is that when they trick you to come to Hellworld, they lure you with what is equivalent of the 7 deadly sins, right? So they lure you with pleasures, with wealth, and hell is your greatest desires met. It's beyond your dreams and all this stuff. That's why Pinhead's always showing you, we have such sights to show you, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, your pleasure, what is your pleasure? And then when you get there, you find out that you're the pain, which is their pleasure. So the demons, they're basically demons who they're humans who are servants now of the giant demon cube pyramid, and their job is to trick you to come to hell. And they'll do all kinds of things, like they use the 7 deadly sins: lust, greed, whatever, power, and they offer immortality, which is interesting because they claim that they can bring you back, right? But you have to serve them if you come back, and you're not human anymore. That's why you have to put on a flesh suit. So you're like a demon who has to be reclothed, basically, which is very gooey, very sticky. A lot of sticky, gooey things in this. It's pretty gross.
Yeah. The doctor keeps occult things and has 2 pictures of Crowley.
Yes. This was crazy.
And a sigil and like Egyptian stuff and more boxes. Remember?
So, what we didn't expect was that when you go to the crazy mental doctor's, psychiatric doctor's private room, it's a ritual room where he does ritual magic, and he's got a picture of Crowley, 2 pictures of Crowley, one doing the whatever, and then one of him doing the Harpocrates thing, and he's got a sigil of something, I can't really tell what it is, and then he's got this mattress where he does his who knows what. So I'm going to warn you, I'm not recommending watch this movie. If you do watch it, when you get to this scene, skip past it. It's probably one of the grossest things, because he brings in a crazy dude who cuts himself. It's pretty gross, and I don't like gross stuff, so we skip past that part. If you do want to watch this movie, skip past. I'm not recommending it, but the thing about Hellraiser 2 is that it was, in a sense, pretty accurate. I mean, I wouldn't have expected Clive Barker, who is a Skittles Satanist, like openly, like he's into ritual magic. Like he's kind of telling the truth here. It's weird. It's like, these Cenobites are demons, and they trick you into coming to Hellworld through the 7 deadly sins. And when you get there, and you're like, hell, where's my chicks? And they're like, we have such pain to show you, right? Yeah. Now they're like, haha, we tricked you. Now we're gonna torture you and feed on your pain.
Yeah.
So it's like literally what demons would do, right?
But there's something that, like, that doctor got transformed, and he was all ecstatic about it. So.
Yeah, so the doctor is experimenting because he wants to learn the secrets of magic in the other dimensions and the other worlds, which is pretty crazy. And so I forgot this. There's all these references to M.C. Escher. So there's these references to other dimensions, higher dimensions, other worlds, which are spiritual worlds, so to speak. And we know that the lament configuration cube can open the portals. They're like keys to opening the dimensions.
Oh, so I found out by looking, they don't tell you this in the movie, but the box, in the whole series they tell you, but The boxes were created by a diabolical murderer or a sadistic toy maker, depending on the comic or the movie version. And apparently there's like 200 of these things floating around. 200 keys to the portals of hell.
Yes. So I don't recommend. So number one is a different kind of movie. It's all takes place basically in one house and in the attic where they're feeding this dude people so that he can evolve from goo into a person. And it's very gooey. Mm-hmm. Hellraiser 2 is more about Pinhead and the Cenobites and this crazy MK Ultra doctor, but it's got a couple pretty gross scenes. So again,
she is dripping blood everywhere in one scene.
Yeah, so when she comes back, she doesn't have skin, and so then she tricks the doctor into feeding her mental patients so that she can get their skin back. And she like sucks on their like glands, or she does something. She puts her hand
in the back.
Something in the back of their neck. I don't know what's back there. But,
so in the end of this whole story, like at the end of all the Hellraisers, apparently the door to hell is finally closed in 2127 by transforming a space station into a giant puzzle box.
You know what? I remember. I think I've seen the Hellraiser in space. Really? It's terrible, but yeah, I think I did see that. I remember that a long time ago.
Make sure if you even look at this movie to fast forward, because I put in the note worst love scene I've ever seen. Sad face. So,
which was this scene?
I think I've forgotten it out of my pushed it out of my brain, but it was probably pretty bad. She might have been gooey.
Oh, it's because she's gooey.
Yeah, so.
Yes, I looked away at this.
Skip that part.
It doesn't show any like sex parts, but this chick is gooey, dude. Like drippy. I'm talking about like dripping. I don't mean in a sexual way. I mean just literally like nougat.
Ew.
Like hot nougat.
I know.
Hot steaming nougat dripping out of a freaking Snickers, dude.
Well, did you notice he said you have to want the pleasures of the box for them to come, because even if you solve the box, the person that wanted to meet them is the one they're going to go after.
This is what I don't understand about the box. Mm-hmm. So they need the kids to open the box?
The doctor, the Crowley doctor needed the kid to open the box. But when
why?
the Cenobite, because, I don't know, he wasn't good enough to do it. He couldn't figure out how to open it.
Oh, because you need a little spurgy genius to do the Rubik's Cube. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. So actually the spurgy kids know how to solve the Rubik's Cube, and they are they're the key to open the portal. Mm-hmm. Because he's not smart enough to solve it.
Right. So when the little girl solves it and the Cenobites come, they're like, we're taking him because it's him who wanted us, not the girl who actually solved the thing.
Right. She didn't know what she was doing. Yeah. And then she's like spurgy. And then when the portal opens up, they walk in. Mm-hmm. And it's all the woman who's organized this, because her job is to just bring souls to Leviathan. Right. Now, here's the point I wanted to make about what was interesting was that, so typically you think of angels or demons as, these like horned figures or winged figures. And what was weird about this was that when you see Leviathan, he's just a big floating triangle cube.
He's a geometric shape.
Yeah, and it reminds me of the geometric shapes in 2001 when Bowman is leaving the dimensions. He goes into like outside of time and space, and he starts seeing, when he goes in the black hole, he starts seeing these geometric shapes. Mm-hmm. And he sees 7 diamonds appear in front of him. Mm. And I actually wrote in my essay that they could signify gods or deities. And so it's just odd because I didn't remember that this presents the demon in this geometric form. So, and the geometric form of the demon corresponds to the cube, which is interesting because, right, the cube can be turned on its point and it becomes Saturn. It becomes the hexagram. Yeah. And there's all the references to Escher, right? And Escher's art and paintings, I don't know, he doesn't have any paintings, all of his drawings are dimensional based drawings. If you look at the Hofstadter book, Gödel, Escher, Bach, he points out how the mathematics of Escher's drawings all points to like dimensional physics.
Mm-hmm. Well, because the other side is chaotic.
Well, it's slippery, so to speak. Like, it doesn't operate on the physics of this dimension.
Exactly.
So you can have a door that, cuts through space and time to another place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's very similar to when Sarah goes into the labyrinth.
Yes.
In Labyrinth, it's all also based on M.C. Escher's dimensional art.
Well, if you notice, when the little girl first runs into the labyrinth, it's like a evil carnival with evil clowns and
Well, a bunch of the DMT bros talk about the circus funhouse carnival dimension.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a recurring thing that DMT bros say they see.
That's pretty crazy. I like the chattering teeth guy the best, I think. Yeah. Which one is your favorite Cenobite?
The fat guy that spits CDs.
Oh, yeah.
That's so stupid. I bet afterwards he was like, all right, yeah, this one is totally retarded, so maybe just get rid of that one. That's like the worst, dumbest Cenobite.
So
I want the one that spits laser discs.
Pinhead, in one of his lines, he says something kind of like what the surgeons are saying at the beginning when they're doing brain surgery, is that they want to know your flesh. And so there's this connection between the doctors, the surgeons, and the demons, right?
Well, it reminds me of the Twin Peaks, the demonic in Twin Peaks, Bob and the man from another place. He wants his Garmonbozia, and that when Bob brings a bunch of blood and he drops it on the floor, and he said, there you are, there's your pain and suffering, your Garmonbozia. So he identifies the food as the pain and the suffering. And we know that, that seems to be, as we were talking about with Seraphim Hamilton the other night, the currency and the food of the demonic realm is human pain and suffering. So it's almost like food and
adrenochrome too.
It's like the energy cubes of the Transformers is like the human pain and suffering. That's what they feed on. And another point I wanted to make too was when they go to Leviathan, when you go to the center of the maze of hell,
which they refer to him as the god of flesh, hunger, and desire.
Leviathan?
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense why he would have Cenobites.
Yeah.
Right? So when you get to the center of the maze and he's in his cube pyramid form floating up there, it's like I don't know what to describe. It's like a demonic version of a what do you call the light that the ships...
Lighthouse?
Lighthouse. It's like a demonic version of a lighthouse.
Yeah.
And he has this black beam that scans around like Sauron or something from Mordor. And when the black beam hits you, it like penetrates your whole being. And it just made me think of like a reverse version of theosis. So rather than being deified by the divine energies and participating in divine life, this is the demonic inversion of this, that when you get to the hell world, Leviathan inverse deifies you through the satanic black light. It penetrates your whole being, and then you become a Cenobite.
Yes.
You become demonicized instead of deified.
Well, the evil doctor got what he asked for. So
Yeah, he becomes a
got
Cenobite.
Immortality through becoming a brain-sucking...
Cenobite.
Yes. And then... Yeah, the demons trick you into becoming a sacrifice for them.
Yes.
Pinhead has a thing for Kirsty, the girl who's runs in the movies.
Christy Cotton.
Yeah. He always spares her for some reason.
Well, in this one, she shows up and somehow has a picture of him because...
Yes. She reminded him that he was human once.
Yeah, and he was a British soldier at the time of World War I think. And then he somehow got a hold of the cube, and he was doing meditation, and he wanted to solve the mysteries, right? So he was on this quest, I guess, for esoteric knowledge, and then the cube he solves it and then gets tricked into being into hell, right? And then he gets turned into a Cenobite. So he's forgotten that he was human, and she reminded him of that with that picture, and then she let him go, and then they ended up, all the Cenobites had to fight the crazy doctor, the evil Dr. Cenobite, because he's like, I'm taking over hell now, right?
Yeah, like you do.
But he actually, they turn human again, the Cenobites, and die. Remember?
Yeah. And one of them was a little boy or something.
Yeah.
It's like, wasn't what you would expect.
But I don't understand. So one thing I didn't get was, where does Pinhead come back if he's been turned into a human and killed?
Yeah, good point.
Does he still go to hell? I mean, that would suck, right? It's like,
yeah. I don't know. Maybe the other Hellraisers take place in a different time. I
think we're just supposed to think that when he dies, he goes to hell, and then he's just turned into Pinhead again.
Oh.
Because in the third one, which is terrible, he comes back as Pinhead.
Oh.
Remember?
Okay. No.
We watched like 30 minutes of it.
Yes, but we didn't see his
there's
story
that
in it.
poll, that art post with all the faces on it, which becomes the new portal.
Yeah.
And so the artist, that one's one thing that is interesting about that one, which is terrible. I don't recommend it at all. But it's an artist who basically has a deal with Pinhead and the demons to be successful as an artist. Mm-hmm. But he has to bring sacrificial victims to Pinhead.
Yeah. Hellraiser 2. What do you think?
Is that the end?
Yeah.
What's at the end?
On
the notes.
They were once human. She closes the portal to hell, but they don't believe her to destroy the mattress.
There was one other thing about who was the blonde chick? Was that in the third one?
No, this was the second one.
No.
The blonde girl was a prisoner of the evil doctor who found out she was good at puzzles, so he said...
No. The person who ends up looking like... She meets Pinhead in his human form in the dream realm. Is that part 3?
Oh, yeah, that's part 3.
Okay, never mind. I'm getting part 3 myself.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Anyway. You want to do Friday the 13th?
Well, let me point out, too, that we will have the... I don't know if we have enough time for both of these. Maybe we can. But remember that if you want like legitimate tea boosting stuff that fights the soy, there is rare authentic Tongkat Ali root, which is an extract wildcrafted literally from the Malaysian rainforest. So I took like 2 of these today. So if you want to head on over to chalk.com, and if you use the promo code J60, which I have listed in the show description, you'll get 60% off whatever you want to purchase. It was used for thousands of years as a super adaptogen for men and women, so women can take Tongkat too. Supports mental and physical clarity, energy, reduces cortisol, stress hormone. It increases free total T levels for men, proven. Cognitive enhancement, hormone support, supports healthy inflammation response, and reduces fatigue and natural energy levels. So I really recommend. What I've found the most relevant for me so far has been the Tongkat, although I have been taking the daily and the 7 wonders, which I like. So I would say go over to chalk.com right now if you want to support our show, and they are our official sponsors. They also have like some other good stuff like the ashwagandha root, which is helpful for mental clarity, focus, hormone optimization, well-being. Helps with your sleep cycle. So I would say test those things out and see if they work for you. The Shilajit as well. And their code right now is, as I said, J60, which is 60% off. So highly recommend that. And we'll get to the Super Chats here in a minute. Remember, guys, after this is a debate with Pedro. So I'm going to rely on coffee and the chalk.com to give me the energy to, after debating for hours today in Discord and doing this lovely show with my wife, Jamie, also having a debate after this.
Do you want to save the next two for like maybe a couple days so we can give them?
Yeah, you know what? I think we should.
And do the super chats now.
Yeah, we'll do the super chats, and then we'll do which ones are left? Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday 13th, and what?
That's it. Well, a little bit of Halloween 2007, but we had to turn that off.
Maybe we'll pick. Yeah, that one was too gruesome. So maybe we'll pick another 80s horror movie that we didn't do. Mm-hmm. So I saw some trailer information stuff for like Freddy 2 and 3. Even though they looked terrible, they actually looked interesting and similar to the Hellraiser thing. Because Freddy brings you to like the hell world, the dream world.
Freddy 2 is really weird, and it has its own following because it's a Skittles. There's a lot of innuendos of that. They call it the...
I remember watching 2 or 3 where they can't get out of the dream world, and it kind of creeped me out back in the 90s.
Well, the new reboot Freddy they did with the guy from Watchmen, Rorschach.
Yeah, Rorschach actor, guy. Yeah. He
played Freddy, and he wasn't a killer at all. He was falsely accused by the parents or something like that. Mm-hmm. He was a slow boy that just liked kids. I don't remember if he actually did it or not.
Okay, yeah, we should watch those and put that in there instead.
Okay.
Because
is Jason Halloween? Yeah, that's next Friday the 13th. We're gonna do that.
But Jamie had never seen the first one, so she didn't know that the first one wasn't about Jason. Haha.
Yes, the twist surprised me because it's a lot like Psycho.
That's why everybody likes the first Friday the 13th, because it's a twist.
Okay.
And then it gets goofy and goofier and goofier with. So if you thought Michael Myers was bad, like Jason is the ultimate like. Dude, like, how many times can this guy die?
Yeah.
It's, like, over the top. There's one of them, I think it's, like, part 4 or 5, where, like, the whole movie is basically just him dying, and he's still after you. Like, he falls off a tractor and gets run over, and he, you know, gets blown up, and it's like, and he doesn't stop. Like, he just keeps
right.
going.
So, we're going to do Stephen King movies.
Yes, the good and the bad.
Good, the bad, and the ugly.
More bad than good, by the way. There's plenty of just awful Stephen King movies.
And we're going to do B movies that were good.
Yeah. As you know, we do good, bad movies, right? Golden trash.
B horror that was good.
Yeah. B movies with a message. One of which is Spellbinder, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a B version, Eyes Wide Shut, Spellbinder.
Yeah. And we might do like Trolls and Leprechaun just for fun. Yeah, someone said Leprechaun with Snoop Dogg. That sounds fun.
Leprechaun and Troll are also, classic kind of garbage movies. So
yeah. So now you can do October with us, Stephen King and B horror movies.
Do you want to get to these super chats?
Yep.
So there's this one here.
Okay. Supreme Gentlewoman, $5. Jim Goad continuously claims you backed out of a debate on the truth of Christianity. He asserts great apologists like yourself refuse to debate him because of his ma'aku. Is there a chance we could see this debate happen? Thanks, Shay.
So the reason we didn't debate was because we had an email exchange, if I recall, maybe 5 or 10 emails back and forth over whether the word eternal covenant means that the Old Testament is an eternal covenant and therefore there could never be a new covenant. So we spent about 10 emails going back and forth about that, and his interpretation was had no flexibility or allowance for nuance. So I didn't think there would be any point in having that debate. But no, it had nothing to do with saying that he had a low IQ or anything like that. I just didn't think the debate would go anywhere, given the rigidity that he had about a couple of verses dealing with the Old Testament. So I just didn't think there would be any point in that debate. Had nothing to do with anybody's IQ.
Okay. The Green Feathers, $10. I hate Halloween stores and Destiny. Check out the video I uploaded on Orthodox fasting. Where's that at? In the chat?
I assume he means his channel. So Green Feathers channel, I presume.
Okay. Brian Gumble, $2. Spooktacular Stream J. What you think about Destiny saying suppositionalists suck because two people debating who claim to have morality from God can't get anywhere in the debate? LMAO.
Well, this is just a misunderstanding, as many kind of basic bitch atheists have, about what presuppositionalism is, right? They think that it means that you just have presuppositions and nobody can debate presuppositions. That's, of course, not what the debate or presuppositionalism is. In fact, the transcendental argument is a formal logical argument, right? You can put it into a disjunctive. X is a necessary condition of Y therefore X. So that's just not what presuppositionalism is.
Nicodemus, $3. Hey Jay, are you going to do an analysis of Squid Game? Could get mad views considering its popularity. Don't want to spoil it, but has some stuff suitable for your film analysis.
I don't know what that is.
That's a brand new show that's going super popular about, as far as I can tell, kind of like Logan's Run, or what's that one with the games? Not Hunger Games, but like where you have to play.
Running Man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. Sounds cool. I don't know about it. Go ahead.
Okay. Mikhail, the King of Kings. Mikhail, the King of Kings. $5. What up, King Jay and Queen Jamie? God bless. Jay, in regards to your theory on action figures being used for the forces of black magic, check out the Clive Barker Tortured Souls series that Todd McFarlane put out for children to purchase in toy stores. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Clive Barker Tortured Souls. Okay, yeah.
And Todd McFarlane is the guy that did Spawn, which is one of the worst movies of all time.
In the first weird stuff I did that I don't sell anymore, I talk a lot about toys.
Yeah.
In that one. Roger Cheeto.
No, Leon Kennedy.
Oh, Leon Kennedy. You both are awesome. Can you recommend any philosophical books on the difference between the correspondence, utilitarian, and coherence model of truth, and why coherence is superior? Also, I heard Bruce Campbell has been doing more YouTube stuff. Thanks.
So Bruce Campbell did reply to the email. He said he was just too busy at the time to come on. But we would like to probably try again maybe in a few months and see if he would come back or actually come on, right, since he has been doing that. So that's a great idea. Really, the best thing would be just the Bonjour text on epistemology. So that's an introduction book that Father Deacon recommends. It's used in undergraduate philosophy classes for epistemology 101. And that will give you the different positions on truth. And coherence theory is just true in one aspect. So we're not, as presuppositionalists, bound to a secular theory of coherence. It's just that they have some good critiques of the correspondence and foundationalist views.
Okay.
Roger Cheeto, that's an awesome name.
Roger Cheeto, $12. Who wins in a sax off? Sweaty Sax Man from Lost Boys or Bill Pullman in Lost Highway?
Fred Madison or Tim Capello? Tim Capello wins because Tim Capello literally doesn't care about anything. If you can wear a literal chain around your neck, like a dog, like a
chain link,
like a chain link chain with giant padlocks and spandex, and be oiled up and play a saxophone, like you don't care, dude. And the problem with Fred Madison is that he is cucked and cares about everything. Like, he's freaking out over just thinking that his wife might be cheating. And he basically has a meltdown playing the sax. So, I mean, who does that tell you right there who's going to win? Mm-hmm. Tim Capello. Sorry.
He's like twice his size, too. So, yeah. Russian Messenger, $5. Great work you two are making. Keep it up, Jay and Jamie. God bless. Thank you. Bless you too.
Thanks, dog. Sorry we didn't get to the other ones, but we're going to have to do this debate here in a few minutes. So, guys, stick around. I'm going to create the Zoom link, and within a few minutes, Pedro and I will be debating. Now, Pedro is over on the Crucible, so you probably saw him with beautiful Tristana last night. Pedro is a nice guy. So we're going to have a nice, friendly, civil debate. It'll be formal. I'm a little tired, so I may not perform 100%. I'm going to try, though, because I'm taking my chalk.com, which gives me the greatest performance skills of all time, because it's like magic level. Like, you want your own bodily lament configuration? It's the chalk.com. This will open up the portals to power, wealth, and fame, right?
Mm-hmm. And it will close the portals to the Cenobites.
We have such things to show you. Yeah. What do you desire? Well, and it's not a trick, by the way. So maybe Cenobites are not a good example to use for trying to sell a product, right? Because they trick you to go to hell. Chalk.com will not trick you into going to hell, I promise. So, thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll do, Freddy and more Freddy and Jason.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll be back in about 10, 15 minutes.